I'm Cape Joel, and you're watching Comic Smack, your weekly, daily, all the time, anytime comic show where I give you your fix of everything you need to know from the world of comic books and superheroes. And on today's show, we're taking a closer look at Daredevil. That's right, the man without fear is joining forces with the amazing Spider-Man, and they're taking Asia by storm. What will happen next? Well, let's hop on in together and find out, shall we? Alright, so picking up from where the last issue left off, Daredevil and Spider-Man meet on top of the Triad-controlled casino in China. Spider-Man says he would do anything to help out Daredevil, his oldest and dearest crime-fighting buddy. Be sure to keep this in mind for later. Daredevil's prize as of right now is a leather-bound suitcase that's being held by one of the Triad thugs. What's in the suitcase, you might be asking? Well, we don't know, and in fact, Spider-Man asked Daredevil several times only for him to tell him absolutely nothing. It's important to keep in mind too, much like everyone else around Daredevil, Spider-Man may remember all the adventures he's had with Daredevil over the years, but he doesn't remember that Daredevil is Matt Murdock. One of the thugs takes off with the case and hops a helicopter. Luckily, through the use of Daredevil's sonar and one of Spider-Man's spider trackers, they're able to track the aircraft all the way back to Hong Kong. They do this, by the way, in quite possibly the most creative way I've seen in a long time, via Spider-Man hydrofoil, by which I mean they web up a boat and just kind of parasail. At first, Daredevil actually doesn't want to do this because he thinks it's silly, but eventually the good-natured Spider-Man manages to wear him down, and he does it for just a little bit. Peter says that heroes like them need to take some joy in their work from time to time, or else they'll all end up like the Punisher, and that would be bad for everybody. You know, I mentioned it elsewhere, but I think it bears repeating here. Writer Charles Soule has a real way with Peter Parker. He really does capture that fun-loving, freewheeling guy that we all know and love. Soule's Spider-Man is also really funny. And yet, as a writer, Soule also proves that he can really turn the grit and the grime on and off. You see, Daredevil actually has Spider-Man leave the room to track down the case while he brutalizes some thugs. And it's at this point right here the comic gets really good. You see, Spider-Man has the suitcase, but he doesn't want to hand it back to Daredevil right away, not until he tells him what's inside it. Daredevil wonders why Spider-Man is being so, suspicious of his oldest and dearest crime-fighting friend, and the answer might surprise you. You see, Spider-Man says that he's had his mind tampered with enough times to know when something's up, and every time he tries to recall some memories of Daredevil, he knows there's some pieces missing. This leads to a scuffle between the two friends, and Peter even threatens to drop the suitcase if Matt doesn't come clean with him, and he kind of does, but kind of doesn't. The way Daredevil tells it, that suitcase contains some very important information on the crime lord Black Cat and her criminal organization. He also says the reason that Spider-Man and others can't quite remember Daredevil is all part of a big plan that involved him coming back to New York, changing his costume, and hopefully, at the end of the day, taking down all the major criminal organizations in the city. And he could sadly only do it the way he's doing now. Now, how much truth is in this statement is still yet to be seen, but it proves to be enough to win over Spider-Man as the comic ends. Daredevil number 9 was the conclusion to a two-part storyline that took a fun superhero team-up idea and actually turned it into something a lot more interesting. We finally, for the first time in a long time, actually get a little bit more insight into what's been going on with Matt Murdock, and maybe a reason as to why he made everyone forget who he was. The fight scenes were all great in this one, really fast and fluid with Spider-Man and really brutal with Daredevil. Soule does a really great job with Peter Parker as a character. He really shines here. Perhaps maybe when Dan Slott is done with the character, maybe Soule could take over. I'd like to see that. Overall, I think this new Daredevil book has really started to hit its stride in the last couple issues, which is why I give this one another 9 out of 10. It was really quality stuff. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching my newest video. I hope you enjoyed it, and while you're here, why not check out another video I have on offer, or maybe if you're feeling in a supportive mood, you want to like or subscribe. And if you want to support the creation of more videos just like this one, then please by all means check out the Cape Joel Patreon. A little bit goes a very long way, and I will see you all next time.